careers. That is how it should be.
Doctor, now regarding career guidance and awareness, we start with the basic premise that there are X number of opportunities available and you have to choose the right one. But in reality, what happens is the opportunities are limited. The candidate may have a choice, but he may not be able to get it. How do we, reconcile these two?
Okay, what we are talking about the market labor information, the demand that is there from the market, and the product that is coming over here. I will just put it like that. For example, if you have a look at the teachers itself, our teachers in the high school, we have got so many of them who have done BA, become BSc, they have done their BA, they are waiting for a teacher's post. And here you will find that the education department talks about almost near 100% literacy in the state of Goa. We talk about that we have been doing very well in the field of education. Let's look at our standards. In some of the schools which are doing very good, 60 plus students in a class. Is that manageable with the present way of educational system that the department of the board recommends?
Doctor, what is the ideal teacher-student ratio?
What I have seen abroad is just 20 students in a class. The classroom will be this big, it will be divided into two halves. For 20 students, they are being divided into groups of 5 each. That means there will be 4 groups. Each group will have one tutor. So one of the tutors will guide those 5 students. They are the bus groups. And their way of educating the children is by assignments. In our state of Goa, all of us know what assignments are. I also did have my daughter who went through. And most of the time they'll come and they'll say, Dada, sit on the computer and get this for me. So finally the assignment is done by the parents and the marks are given to the child. That's the sad story that's happening. But what's happening abroad is they are being given all the things down there for the 4 groups. They work on the system. The tutors will help them up to get onto the particular site, help them to download the things, get the printouts, and then they do the layup. So right at that early age, they are learning about presentation skills. Now, how does this work? When we talk about teaching and learning, when we talk about doing presentations and learning, you end up retaining almost 70%. It's like, you see something, you retain 20%. You see and hear something, you retain 30%. If you start doing something, a skill base, you retain 50%. But when you start teaching somebody, you retain 70%. Now, what are our passing mark of the board? The Goa board says 35%. 35% is the passing mark.
Right.
Now, the strategy that you are using for teaching is by assignments. If you are teaching them by assignment, Jorson is now going to give a lesson or he's going to do a presentation. So I'm going to teach a group of my 5 or the whole class. So when I'm teaching them, I'm going to retain 70%. In the bargain, I'm going to cross your 35% standard. So this is a cut-paste policy of the government of Goa and the Goa board, where they have got all past policy you go through. The strategy is one which is never practicable because you have got 60 students in a class. If you are going to divide them into bus group, because a bus group is not supposed to be of more than 6 students, that means you are going to have 60 students divided by 10. So you are going to have 10 groups. So if you are going to have 10 groups and if you are going to have 10 tutors, can you imagine the classroom that you require? And we don't have the infrastructure into our schools. If each one of them is going to do a presentation of maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes, multiplied by 10, 250 minutes, one lesson, whole day is gone by. So we have to bring down, now that we are looking forward for good performance from the students, we have to bring down the strength of the students, increase the number of teachers, because in the pipeline you have got so many teachers that are already waiting for the positions now. Now, this would mean financial implications on the department. You have to pay salaries for the teachers. Pay the salaries. They are all the time fighting for retirement age should be 60 and 58, 60 and 58. That goes on all the time. And if you are going to continue the teachers who are going to retire at the age of 60, then you're not allowing somebody else, a newer person, to come in. If you go to the school and use LCD projector, people start wondering how does it work, how does it come up there, how does it go on the screen. Nobody knows what is the presentation protocols that are there. That you must have only 8 lines, what should be your font size. People do not know about it. Now, these type of things are being taught to the student when they are in the 6th, 7th, 8th standard abroad. And here you learn when only you become a graduate and you start working, and that is the time you learn about this protocols of presentation. That's the sad story in our state of Goa.
But is there optimism that things will improve? Is there a dialogue with the government to inculcate these things?
I don't know whether there is a dialogue at any level, but the educational policy, when they are framing it, they should choose the right people who can sit into that forum, debate and discuss. and get these sort of things inside. So for which you need people who have been abroad, who have witnessed things that are happening abroad. We may have people also coming from abroad who could give the inputs of what standards they follow, what is suitable for us, what is suitable for our culture, and accordingly get them into the educational policy. That's one part. Two, I wouldn't say that if you do all this, the rural part of India, the rural part of Goa will not be able to function at all. Because you need an infrastructure that is going to manage just those 20 students with 4 tutors, with so many computers and smart boards that are being required. But the good part of it is today, we have got Asha Kiran. And Asha Kiran talks about all the school dropouts that need to come in. Two, we have got the NGOs like Rotary who are supporting today WASH in schools. What do we mean by WASH is water and sanitation and health. In schools means we are going to teach the children, because there are a lot of diseases that are being transmitted through waterborne diseases through the children, and we want to curtail them so that they have good health. And at the same time, we have got something called as a TEACH program, where we talk about teacher development. Now that's where, when we talk about teacher development, we talk about inputs in terms of career counseling, the basic level that the teacher needs to know. We need to talk about e-learning, so all the teachers who have never ever gone through, putting their hands on the computer, learn about the presentation skills. We have got adult learning. That's for the rural India. We have got the child development that talks about wholesome development of the child, inclusive of the children with the special needs. And we talk about the happy schools. In happy schools, we talk about the infrastructure requirement, the standard infrastructure requirement to take the performance levels much higher. So India has been today working out on this program with the NGOs. We are optimistic that it will come through. Maybe it is going to take 5 years, 10 years down the line, but we are looking forward for these goals to come into a reality that will certainly take us to higher performance levels.
Doctor, we all have heard cases where highly qualified students like graduates and postgraduates and even holding doctorates also apply for jobs as peons when there is a government vacancy. When you hear this, what does it make you feel, and what is the solution for this?
This particular problem is basically because of the market labor information that the people do not have. I've read that on the newspaper, what you're talking about, that people who are graduates and postgraduate applying for a peon's post even at the parliamentary level. And that's the saddest story. That speaks simply about the people are not being told right in the beginning, after you do your graduation, there will not be positions that are available for you. And finally, you turn down to a level of a peon to, as a graduate, to work at that level because you've got no other opportunity that's being left behind for you. Two is the entrepreneur skills. People who are graduates are not also going for the business that they would love to. And that's where, again, they need more inputs to find out what is available in the market for me as an entrepreneur to develop my skills and get into a particular business which I can sell my products and earn my living. That has not been happening at all. And that gives us a simple sign that we need to inculcate and educate people right at their level of the school before they go for graduation or post-graduation, the type of opportunities that are available for them, the type of careers that are available for them into the market. That's something which is very important. So it's a simple sign that the education department and the government of India has failed to do that, and they simply allow the people to go into that line.
Latching on to your cue on business and going into the entrepreneurial line, Doctor, is there kind of problems with the parents when they their children say that we want to go into business? Is there some kind of difficulties in that?
There wouldn't be any difficulty as such, but the moment you talk about entrepreneurship and you talk about starting a particular business, there is an involvement of money factor into that, and the parents always think of, will my child be able to do that or not? To tell you the fact, being a doctor, I told my parents we had a barren land of almost around 40,000 square meters, just about 2 kilometers away, and I told my parents I would start farming. And my father said, you farming? That was the first question. My mother said, and you're not going to practice? That was the second question that came from my mother. And I said, I will talk to my friends and I will launch myself into that. The next question that came up from my father was, but how much money would you need? Because it's just a barren land, we need to do fencing for that. So I told my dad, I said, I'll save my money and I'll get into it. I did that. I started into oil palm farming. I went into coconut palm farming. I had banana plantation into my farm. I was 2 times an award winner for the state of Goa in oil palm farming. I also got the Western Zone Farming Award. Now, when we are talking about this, what my parents said to me, you farming, 1, 2, who will run your clinic now? And 3, what are the amount of money that you require? Because I was just at that time trying to start my clinic. Must have been a similar type of a questioning that will come from people when they want to start something like this. Now, I didn't have to buy the property. It was a property that belonged to my parents. What I had to do was just start my farming activity down there. But despite that, my parents did have this restraint being put. Is he going to be successful? Is it going to be a waste of money? Is he going to do real farming, or is he going to destroy his clinic, what he has studied here for? So these are the type of things I understand must be happening with every parent. That's what I feel.
Is our education system more trained towards creating people who look for jobs, or is entrepreneurship also being encouraged?
Entrepreneurship is being encouraged. I think the EDC should also take this up at a larger scale. Apart from that, the Employment Bureau should also take this up at a larger scale. Not forgetting the Goa University, which has a larger share into this, because they provide the necessary courses, and they are the ones who will make openings for people to see that whatever market labor that is being required is being all given to them into the university over here. So these are the 3 institutions that should provide this sort of an intervention into our educational system for the people to choose their right career, so that they do not shy away and I have an educational qualification at this level and I choose finally an opportunity at this level. There's a total mismatch down there. That should not happen. And I think they need to have a very vital role into this perspective, what you're asking. It's a very good question.
Doctor, moving on, can you describe to us your typical seminar or interaction with the students regarding career, how it goes about, what is the protocol?
I'll give you a simple example. If I go to the rural part of Goa and if I ask my students, do you know about hotel management? A dozen of them will put their hands up. If I pick up on one of them and I say, okay, could you tell me what is hotel management? Then they will say, sir, simple thing, it is very simple. What you need? Say batat vada, samosa, chai, urun diupache. And then from there you shout, don batat vada, ek chai, 40 rupees. That's their hotel management. Because that is what they see happening into a restaurant in the rural part of Goa. Now, what does this signify for a person like me? That means this child doesn't have an exposure beyond that restaurant, anything more than that. If you try to tell him and show him a picture of a star hotel and how does it function like a big industry, it's flabbergasting for him. It's, oh, that's what hotel management is all about. Because when we talk about security, when we talk about the works department, when we talk about the front office, they say there are so many paths. Because here there is nothing like that. It's just one towel under the shoulder, ask the person, place the order, bring it from the kitchen, serve it to him, and directly from there shout what it is, and the person charges him and off he goes. That's the hotel management that they have got. So you need to really get them through and take them for excursions also, so that they have on-hand experience of what is happening into the career that they would like to choose for themselves. And this is what has been happening into the rural part. But if you have a mixture of students, then you'll find some of them will subdue the others who are coming from the rural part who have not witnessed all this. The people who have already witnessed will talk about it, and then you can't gauge whether all your set of students know about it or not. This is what has been happening in many of the schools.
Regarding Don Bosco College, what advice and what protocol or setup you would say the college needs to put in place so that career guidance is given prominence?
I've been living just next door when I was in the hostel, in the RNO's hostel. For 6 years we have been over here, and the institution, the organization, Don Bosco, have grown miles and miles, and we wish them all the very best. I think the right protocol now at this moment of time is, since you have got the college, you must be having NSS group. If the NSS group could channelize for doing the mapping, going to the industries, finding out what are their requirements, and then accordingly start newer institution, newer wings and facets to your whole educational institution, would make it one of the stars in the state of Goa that could provide the necessary educational platform for the children to choose, so that they can meet the opportunities that are available in the market. That is how I would go about. You need not even choose anybody else. You can just have your NSS students, give them a standard format, send them right up to the industry and find out. To give you a simple example, how would this work? We have got the electronic city that was being envisioned by the government then, which has turned now from the electronic park into a pharma park. I'm talking about Vietnam. How many institutions which provide us pharmacy colleges are there in the state of Goa? We have got just two. One is in PS College. The second one that we have got is our Goa College of Pharmacy. If you go into these pharma institutions in the Vietnam industrial estate, you will find hardly about 6 to 10% of Goan students who have passed out from these two colleges and institutions. The rest of them are all coming from outside the state of Goa. That means we have got a huge demand, and we find that the product is coming is at a very low level. Now this market labor information, if we can get through our NSS students, like the way Don Bosco always does their groundwork of assessing the needs, I think the students themselves can help us out, and Don Bosco can still grow to this greater heights, and we always wish them the best to do that.
Doctor, it has always been an assumption that Goa is not an ideal place to seek employment. Before, people used to go to the Gulf. Now they have been started going to UK, and the reason for migration to UK has been regarding employment. And also now the students are moving to big metros like Mumbai, Hyderabad, and the other big metros for employment. Can things change in Goa, Doctor?
We have, if there are people who are coming from the outside the state of Goa into our state, and which is the largest influx that we have got, they were an overload already onto our infrastructure. Why there is a need for our students to go outside? Why there is a need for our people maybe to go to UK or to go to Gulf? One reason is because of higher salaries, which we do not get over here. In other words, you are not able to, for your educational qualification, you are not able to get the type of finances that you should be drawing. And that's one reason why people move outside the state of Goa, and the second reason is they move maybe outside the country. 3, you will find there's a lot of corruption that's happening. I'm sorry to say that, but this is what has been happening, and we have to go by the reality. You'll find that the favorite few will be getting into the slots. And when the people from Goa who are not able to use these corrupt practices and unethical means to seek the positions into the government, our English is very good. We do very well outside. Without using the influence, you get a job. So you don't have to put in any money, absolutely. And that's another reason why people go abroad, why people go outside the state of Goa and seek employment for themselves. This is what it is.
So, Doctor, also we have now a developing film industry all over the country and all that. What is your take on the performing arts and opportunities in the performing arts?
Except for the Kala Academy and a couple of schools now where they have got the music teachers that are coming in, some of the private schools that are there, the dance forms, again, a few schools are there where they are giving up on performing art. I think we have to grow on a larger scale. Even dramatics, the script writing has to all go along with that. It cannot be just a small little piecemeal thing happening here and there. So Kala Academy has got a bigger role to play. We have got with the International Film Festival that is coming here, there's a larger exposure, like the way I was talking about, larger exposure being given to people of choosing a career in this direction. And that's something which is very good. But if the children want to choose that, where is the institution for us? That's one part. 2, we have got amateurs. I've got a couple of my friends who have been learning it with others, and they have been doing these small little things and helping them out. And they have been there into the film industry in whatever capacity they have got, but not with full-fledged qualifications that they have got, but they have become amateurs because they have learned it by learning others, and they have gone through it. But given a formal education, probably they could have done much, much better. So this is one angle that the Goa government has to look into and develop those institutions which are already there, support them financially, get the type of faculty that we need to develop the career of the children and take them to a higher level.
Doctor, how many colleagues you have who are in this career guidance, whom you know about? Are they sufficient in Goa?
We have got a couple of people who have been doing this, but I don't think we can meet the type of demand that the students and the teachers as well as the schools have. Normally what happens is the schools will come up somewhere in the month of February, March, and they'll say, we want to have a career awareness course. Now, that's the time people have their prelims, then people have their examinations, and then a retest, and then their final exams, and in that we cramp up all this. So we normally prefer, if there's a child somewhere in the 7th, 8th standard, it would be much more ideal for them to go through it. But the number of faculty that we have got is just a small little number, and we are not able to meet the demand in the whole of the state of Goa.
Doctor, your medical profession must be keeping you very busy. How do you find the time to devote to career?
This is a passion, basically speaking. I never got anybody to talk about careers to me. And when I interacted and I was chosen by the Employment Bureau of Goa to do these courses, I myself had to do a lot of study in the medical field. And I realized that why shouldn't I share this with the children? And the more I got encouragement from the parents who came and said that, Doctor, we never had this information. That was a source of inspiration for me to give something more to the children as and when I could. And I went on that scale that even to the extent after the 10th standard results and 12th standard results are being out, I normally keep my clinic for about 4 days so that the children and the parents can come back and then they can discuss issues on careers. And that's how we go about. But it's a passion. It's a passion.
Doctor, what is the plan for the future in this field?
I will go on as long as I can. I will also try to club in more people who would like to join in, because a couple of our friends now have retired and they have not been able to perform the way that when they were young. So more newer people will be coming in. Newer courses have come in, and there are more newer people who would like to join in over here. How much of commitment they have, I really don't have the idea at this moment of time. But we are growing. It's not that just 4 or 5 people that were there once upon a time. We are now almost to the tune of around 2 of us who are doing these courses. And we expect to grow double-fold on that.
Are they also full-time, or they are doing it as part as a...
No, we are doing it, we club ourselves. The moment we get a request coming from a school or a higher secondary, we'll club people and then we'll say like, okay, these are the 4 or 5 people who will go to this school. This is the time that we require. These are the things that we require in the form of LCD or maybe flip chart boards. And then we go all as a team, maybe 5 of us, and we talk to the students, we talk to the parents as well.
So friends, this was Dr. Jorson Fernandes sharing his thoughts about career guidance, and I'm hopeful that this interview will help shed light on this, and let us all thank Dr. Jorson for the information. Thank you, Dr. Jorson.